New calls for justice for victims of racially motivated murders from the Jim Crow era. Researchers say hundreds of killings of black Americans remain unsolved. That's the law requiring the FBI to investigate those crimes. Erica Pittsey's here with that story. Erica?
And John, those researchers made up of lawyers and professors through Syracuse University went before a United Nations panel on Thursday calling out the U.S. government for not doing enough to solve hundreds of cold cases. Now, the accusation comes 7 years after Congress passed an unresolved Civil Rights Crime Act, which created a budget of $13 million to reopen these cases. Now it's up to the UN whether to consider if the United States government played a role in ignoring these murders. In front of the world at a United Nations conference in Geneva, a team of American lawyers and professors took the United States government to task for what they say is a failure to solve hundreds of racially motivated murders from the Civil Rights era. The Cold Case Justice Initiative told a UN panel that the United States has never come to terms with accountability for the devastating loss of life during a time of domestic terrorism that continued in many forms after the legal end to slavery. Case in point, in Mississippi, in 1967, a bomb underneath the hood of a car went off, killing 36-year-old Warless Jackson. The blast was so powerful, it reportedly blew parts of the vehicle into houses 150 feet away. A group aligned with the Ku Klux Klan was believed to be behind the explosion, but no one has ever been arrested, charged, or prosecuted for Jackson's murder. The Department of Justice insists it's done its job of investigating these cold cases, producing a list of 126 victims. 115 of those cases have been closed, yet only a single case has been prosecuted. According to the Cold Case Justice Initiative, there are more than 300 suspicious killings or disappearances of black Americans that have not been acknowledged by the government, let alone solved. Now, considering the amount of possible cold cases that have not been acknowledged, the initiative group believes there could be hundreds, if not thousands, of white supremacy killers who got away with murder, and some may still be alive. Keep in mind, in Attorney General Eric Holder's report to Congress, he said the difficulty with all cold cases is that witnesses die or can't be found, memories are clouded, and evidence is destroyed so many years after the fact, John.
All right, Erica, thank you. Ben Greenberg is an investigative reporter, founding member of the Cold Case Civil Rights Project. Ben, what do you think of the government and the job they've done regarding these murders?
Well, John, it's been really quite disappointing. There really was a great window of opportunity here to finally bring some closure to families who lost loved ones decades ago with no form of redress, no course to justice, and witnesses are dying every day. The opportunity to really approach these cases in a comprehensive, ambitious fashion has been slipping through the fingers of the Justice Department.
What sort of grade would you give the Justice Department on this?
Hesitate to give out a grade, but the performance has really not been what I would have hoped.
Well, is it willfully negligent, or is this just a bureaucratic problem?
You know, I can't really speak to motivation. No one from the Justice Department has really discussed why things have gone the way they have. But what I have seen is I'd like to take that what I have seen, excuse me, what I have seen is that there has been, I think there is a bureaucratic issue. I've had an investigator, an FBI agent investigating a case that I was looking into, tell me that he needed to lobby his supervisor to get gas money from Jackson, Mississippi, to the Natchez, Mississippi area.
So what you're saying is they didn't get support from their supervisors?
That was the implication of his comment to me. He was asking me to give him my unpublished notes so that he can convince his supervisor that he had enough cause to come down from Jackson to Natchez.
What kind of legacy do we leave this country if the government doesn't clear these cases, investigate these cases properly?
Well, you know, as you reported, we don't know how many of these cases are unresolved. There's countless communities around the South and throughout the United States where these incidents have occurred. And the message to those communities is that white people can kill black people and get away with it and continue to live their lives, walk among the victims' families and friends, and be a respected member of the community.
Ben, your father, Paul A. Greenberg, was a special assistant to Dr. Martin Luther King at the Southern Christian Leadership Conference in the early 1960s. Is that in part why you are so committed to this issue?
Yes. I mean, I grew up with the civil rights movement, history being the air that I breathed, and it was, you know, a pivotal experience for my father, and it's really definitely part of his legacy for me to be continuing to try to bring some closure to some of these cases as best as possible.
Ben, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.